One thing you know you're going to get from a guy who played for Kelvin Sampson at Houston, defense. Senior Marcus Sasser, no different. Consensus All-America first-team selection. And he is headed to the Detroit Pistons as the Pistons and Celtics make a trade. Sasser led the Cougars in scoring with 17 points per while helping Houston to a 33-4 record and a #1 seed in the 2023 NCAA tournament. So, if you remember, the Celtics got the 25th pick in this year's draft in the Kristaps Porzingis deal, where Marcus Smart went to the Grizzlies. The Wizards were part of this deal. They got Tyus Jones, among others. So now, if you're following along here, what happened was the Celtics traded to the Pistons, and now Boston will have the 31st pick and future seconds. Got it? Good. Okay, Marcus Sasser ultimately headed to the Detroit Pistons. Adam, your thoughts here, because we kind of joked about it. Boston should have kept the guy because they just got rid of Marcus Smart, but now he's headed to Detroit.
Yeah, and I think if you're Detroit, you're looking at a backcourt rotation where you need some perimeter shooting. And they get it here in Sasser, although he's the size of a point guard, he's really more of a combo guard, scoring guard by nature. And next to Cade Cunningham and next to Jaden Ivey, that's going to work out just fine. We know he's a competitive defender. He's a baller. This is a guy who, if you talk to the people at Houston, they say loves to be in the gym. He's all about basketball. And that's what Detroit wants. This fits the identity that Troy Weaver is trying to build. It puts some much-needed shooting around them, and they have room for an undersized scoring guard because of the size of their primary facilitators in Cunningham and Ivey. So I give it a B. I think it's solid. Not anything that's too. I think it's interesting from the Celtics' perspective because they obviously were targeting someone at 25 who they think can be available at 31, so they flip the pick and pick up a different asset, an additional second-round asset in the process.
Yeah, it really would have been interesting if this Marcus replaced the other Marcus in Boston. That's not what's going to happen.
Yep.
But, I just think Pistons, traditionally, this feels like it fits. Can I just speak to how awesome of a draft night story this is? I mean, Sasser came out of high school as, borderline top 400 prospect and has just been awesome as a college basketball player for a long time. Amazing leader, tenacious defender, relentless confidence in what he can do, and really carved out, with the assistance of that coaching staff, but obviously I'm going to heap the majority of the credit on Sasser himself here, carved out a path to being a first-round draft pick, which I just find to be awesome. Like this is a tremendous story, and in talking to a number of NBA folks in recent days, I had polled them and said, listen, give me 2 players that you have second-round grades on that you ultimately think could bear out to be top 30, top 25 talents that you hope are still there in the second round but might not be there. Sasser was the second leading vote getter among all players that I heard from on that, and so it is not a surprise to see that he ultimately gets picked in the first round. And the subplot to that is he's doing it with the Pistons, who did not have confidence at 31 that he would still be there 6 picks later. They got themselves a good one. I think he'll be an awesome role player for a long time in the league.
All right, let's bring back Kyle Boone, lead NBA draft analyst. Kyle, Marcus Sasser ultimately headed to Detroit. What do you think of the fit here?
I love the fit. This is like your franchise quarterback getting a top 5 wide receiver prospect, adding another weapon to your arsenal. This is Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. Not only the Pistons getting Asar Thompson, but now getting Marcus Sasser, someone who is an absolute flamethrower scorer. He's only 6'2", and I think there was some concern there in how his game would project because of his frame. But the scoring ability, the microwave scoring that I think he will be able to add next to Cade Cunningham, next to Jaden Ivey, and now next to Asar Thompson in Detroit, I think is fantastic. Last season averaged 17 points per game. It's a career 37% three-point shooter. We talked a little bit earlier about Jordan Hawkins being one of the best shooters in this draft, and I think Finkelstein thinks he is the best shooter in this class. Look at the synergy numbers on Marcus Sasser. His spot-up shooting numbers last season in the 90th percentile, very comparable to Jordan Hawkins. So a guy who can play both on and off the ball. I think his game projecting ahead, playing next to Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, I think is going to be really, really good for him. He's someone who I think will be an interesting depth piece for this Pistons team, and I think a definite upgrade in terms of their depth moving forward in the backcourt.